Wow, what an introduction. My heart is just so full with gratitude right now. Many thanks to the National Wildlife Federation and just for all the amazing people who put together this terrific event. I'm just so over the moon. And especially to share the stage with such inspiring and legendary honorees, Dr. David Suzuki, Renry, and of course, President Bill Clinton. Wow. In my work, people often ask the question, why aren't there more Black people in nature or acting as conservationists? And my answer is always, you're not looking in the right places. Exactly 5 years ago this month, Outdoor Afro began as a blog right out of my home using social media at a time for many in the conservation world, social media was just very unfamiliar back in 2009, and there were people who had not quite embraced it. Some still have not. You know who you are. So using the platform of Outdoor Afro, I made it my business to share just how Black people do have a deep and generational connection to nature. And back then, I had no idea how my personal story and connection to nature would spark a national inquiry about African American relationships to the outdoors and really become a national way of partnering with leaders like the National Wildlife Federation, and in particular the National Wildlife Federation's California advisory group under the leadership of Beth Pratt. She invited me to take part in an amazingly diverse advisory group to necessarily widen the conservation tent to include more people, more perspectives, and professions into this work. Thank you so much, Beth. Are you out there? I appreciate all you do. But for me, the journey to Outdoor Afro really began with a profound experience, as you heard in the video, of growing up partially on a Northern California ranch and learning to love the natural world through the eyes and actions of my father, A.C. Levias. As a Black man from Jim Crow era Texas, he would have never called himself a conservationist. Yet he profoundly and absolutely lived in harmony with the wild. In fact, to this day, I often take pause when people call me a conservationist, because loving the outdoors and taking care of it is just simply a part of my life and a part of my heritage. And every day in my work, I witness and share the countless ways people who look like me connect and feel transformed through nature right where they live, work, and play. And thanks to the National Wildlife Federation, particularly Larry Swiger, I have become better at telling stories about wildlife. For instance, I have fallen for the Hollywood mountain lion P-22. And I often link his resiliency to the ways my ancestors learned how to survive and thrive in often new, unfamiliar, and sometimes hostile environments. But today, I understand that our work together is really about culture shift. And I suspect that when our work is done, there will not be a parade waiting for us. No balloons falling from the sky. Instead, we'll simply look up and see people visibly enjoying and protecting our natural world in proportion to their population and their opportunity, and it will be no big deal. It will also be a moment when people can understand the common ground between the Yellowstone bison and urban food deserts and work together to do something about it. In closing, I have to thank many more people. The outdoor industry, I don't know if there's any outdoor industry folks in the building, in particular at REI, Keen, Cliff Bar, Swarovski Optic, and many more folks who make my work just plain old fun. But most especially, this work is a tribute to heritage. I think often of Harriet Tubman, our Moses, It's because of her relationship to land, her ability to move with and through wildlife. She was able to lead hundreds to freedom. She didn't have a GPS. And I also think about George Washington Carver, who took reuse and innovation to new intellectual heights. And also, of course, to my father, who's no longer living here on this earth, but lives on in my work. And for the family who joined me today, my sister Delane, John Nelson, and especially my children, Seth, Arwen, and Billy. Please stand. It is to them that I will pass on a legacy of loving our precious natural resources, just as my father, your grandfather, did for me. So tonight, I invite you to join Outdoor Afro, tap into your inner Afro, and continue to support the work of the National Wildlife Federation to help make the connections between all people and nature visible and understood by everyone. May God bless you and our precious wild. Thank you.